everyone. This is Ken from MasonWorks Marketing. Today here with Barbara Wildner. And I'm so excited. We're here on Conscious Business Zone, and you have to hear about how money is love, which is a very interesting concept that she created a book about and a whole philosophy about. Hi, Barbara. How are you?
Hi, wonderful to be here, Kathy.
Yes. Well, I met Barbara. We were trying to figure out, it's over 10 years ago when she used to live here in Colorado. And I went to a workshop and got her book, Money is Love, that used to have a green cover with Kuan Yin on it. And I've got a Kuan Yin right there. They can't see, but you can see. So there she is. Thank you. Yeah, I looked for my book to try to show it. Thank you. Thank you very much. So Barbara, I'd love to. Can I read a little bit of your bio first, and then you can tell us as much as you can that we might be able to absorb about Money is Love. Okay. So Barbara is an internationally acclaimed author, speaker, teacher, and healer. She is the founder and director of the Transformational Light Center. In her groundbreaking book, Money is Love, she showed us how to reconnect money to the sacred feminine and transform it into an agent for both personal and global prosperity. Her second book, Embracing Your Power Woman, is a radical program that gives women in the second half of life the skills to recognize, embrace, and embody their innate feminine power. So, and it goes on to say she's actually worked with Deepak Chopra's Alliance for New Humanity. She's been on this quest for, I don't know, 20 years, something like that, right?
25, yeah.
25, oh, well,
right.
Yeah, I get it. So this business I've done for 20 or 19, so I get it. So Barbara, tell us how did all of this happen, and share with us about this whole epiphany about money is love, and there's a new way to look at everything.
Okay, it's just a tiny subject that I've been exploring since it first actually came to me. For the message Money is Love came to me in 1995, yeah, when I was bankrupt. And we had filed bankruptcy. We'd moved to Boulder and thought that was going to, because, my guides guided me to Boulder, and we thought everything would be just perfect. And it just felt, because that was my process and my growth. And then I got this message from a man named Stanley Messenger, which is
perfect name, isn't it?
It was so perfect, And I didn't even mean to go to this party where he was. Some people just came over and said, "Want to come along?" And I said, "Fine," and he wasn't talking about money. He was talking about crop circles, which I love. So I was laughing. But this is really this, one of the great moments in our lives. We walked in and we were late, and he was already giving a little talk. It was his 80th birthday, and he was standing up at the hearth and giving a little talk. And I stayed in the back because I didn't want to make noise and be talking about crop circles and how they happen and what he's done and how he's passed out in them and everything. And all of a sudden he sees me and he stops talking. And then he says, "I just have to tell you that money is love." And then he went right back to talking about crop circles.
Yeah, that was a message just for you. I never knew that part.
And I'm standing there. I mean, my mother had just a year before passed, and she cut me out of her will, right? And and I'm processing that in my life. And then we had come to Boulder and everything fell apart and we went bankrupt. And I've been bankrupt. That had happened only like 4 months ago or something. And money is love. And I felt like some energy came across the room and into my heart. And I went, that's true. Oh my God, that's true. And of course, there had the little voices in the back of my head saying, oh, that's ridiculous. Money is the worst thing in the world. It's so awful and it ruins everybody's lives. And, you know, Jesus threw the money changers out of the temple. All those voices are coming at me. And I kept feeling, no, this is a truth. This is a truth. And I have to own it. And I talked to him later and he said, I don't know anymore. I said, what to tell me more about money's love? And he said, I don't know anymore. He said, before I left Scotland, some people I knew were talking about money as love. I heard them talk about it. He said, last night when I was in Crestone, which is, if for people that don't know, is a very high vibration place. He said, just before I went to sleep, I saw this pink orb of light. I heard the words, money is love. And when I saw the pink orb of light, and I knew I had money is love.
Oh, how perfect. So this was definitely, and you were sensitive enough to feel the energy in it and go, okay, my soul's mission's coming in. Here I go.
Right. Exactly. And I went. I mean, I just started researching money and reading everything I could, but also meditating on it every day. Because I had been a very conscious meditator for about 20 years by that time. So and the pink light, I told Stanley at the moment that time, I mean, we became very much loving partners in this. I love that man. He passed a couple of years ago, but I said the pink light in the work that I do, because I work with light energy, I said, is the Christ light. And he said, well, that makes sense. So all of this to say that what I learned was we have got to change the consciousness around money from fear to love.
Oh, perfect.
Yes.
You won't believe this. Zach Bergen, who is very, very conscious, he's a scientist and conscious. He says, cool, I was at that talk. I remember Stanley, a compelling talk and a neat soul in Boulder.
Oh my God, hi.
What was the chance of that?
Oh my goodness.
Is that cool? Thanks, Zach. Thank you. And thank you, everyone that's here. Thank you. So, wow. Yeah, that's the way it is anymore. Affirmations, validations, people showing up. You ask for something, next thing you know, it shows up. That's the way it's happening right now.
It's beautiful. Then what is this person's name?
Zach Bergen.
Okay. Zach Bergen.
Yeah, when we're done, you can connect with him on Facebook. So.
Okay, great.
So this is really interesting that I reread your book last night. Thank you for sending it. And you had trouble finding any high quality information about the origins of money. It all was very history instead of her story.
Yes.
Her story.
Right.
So it took you a while to research it, right?
Yes, it did. And it took me about a year. I worked at it for about a year. And then I started getting stuff started coming to me. And I went to Jack Groverland, because these are people, we're talking a lot of Coloradans here, at Unity Church, where I was a member. And I said, I want to do a workshop on money is love. And, Jack didn't usually jump in and say yes to workshops
right.
by other people. And I love you, Jack. And I still love you. And he said, great. When do you want us to do it? You know, it was just started coming through. And that's how the book evolved, was from that first, 6-week course that I created. Yeah. And during that time, though, is when I connected with the Divine Mother. It's when I connected with the Divine Mother. And of course, on the cover of the book is Kuan Yin, who has always been guiding this entire thing. So, so it is about, we originally, money originally was just what we shared, whatever it was, but always in the framework of the Divine Mother, because it wasn't that we worshiped the Divine Mother, we knew we were part of the Divine.
Right. We're the connection to it, and the opportunity to co-create with it.
Yes, exactly. And so that everything we did was sacred. So sharing our, trading, our wild berries for your baskets that you just woven was a sacred event, right? And it's part of the mother. And so, the mother thing, right? The Mother Earth still does give us everything. We just think she does.
Well, we think we're in control of it, and it's not alive, but the Earth is alive. Everything is alive. So I just want to read you. Zach said, well, he's saying that he's known Cleverland, and he's talking about unity and everything. And but I believe that God is the source of all supply, and money is God in action. Is his quote that he has been doing that one for years.
That's beautiful. Cute.
Yeah.
That's lovely. Yeah.
So you can see you're getting validation that people understand it, but a lot of people don't. And a lot of people have so much fear about the whole idea of money because of the way that they were brought up, or the way they saw money being used in inappropriate ways, that they've got constructs that they really need to clear. And we're talking about conscious business here. Conscious business is in the flow with the divine, in the flow with love, breathing in love, breathing out harmony, and working with it. So you made that a big part of your relationship with other people and support for other people for years, right?
For years, yes. And this hasn't been an easy journey. I mean, being handed this, incredible piece of knowledge, and said, okay, go on this, walk this path. It has, taken me down, it's because because of the fear that it is infused in all of humanity, except for the most deeply indigenous people that live completely off the grid.
Yeah.
It's a process to clear this. It's a process to clear the fear, to reveal that it's the truth is that money is love.
Right.
So, and it's outside of the world that we think of in healing money and prosperity. It lives in another vibration. It's a higher vibration. It's not about it, and it's not about making millions of dollars. It's about learning to live in the flow that is the natural flow of the abundance that the Mother Earth gives us.
Right.
Not in how we are going to make it happen.
Well, so a lot of the teachers that I'm following are talking about the construct of third dimension, fourth dimension, and fifth dimension. And fourth dimension still has this polarity where it's fear versus love. And what you're talking about is that this work is really a higher frequency, like fifth dimension, right, where there is no polarity, and you don't even think of things as that way. It's like if you're called to do something, you follow the path. And then if there's a block, to just make a little wiggle. You don't, it's like, it's not binary, zeros or ones.
That's right. That's right.
It's in between that gap right there, right?
Yes, and exactly. And what happens, I found, is in this the 4D, everything gets very messy, and what we want to do is lift up out of 4D as often as possible. Just even if it's just for that much of actually infusing 3D with 5D and infusing 3D into 5D, so that it's so that we neutralize the polarities. We more than neutralize, we infuse each polarity with the other. It's like alchemy. And that's so that one creates and lifts the vibration of the other.
Well, and I do think that's what the reason all of us embodied at this time is to have a ascension, if you want to call it that, but an ascension up-leveling in body. So,
yes, exactly.
So what you're talking about is that being at 0 point while you're still in 3D.
Yes, exactly.
And being able to operate from there where it's not, but there's a lot of triggers that.
Yes.
So how do you deal with that? How do you deal with the triggers that show up? Because I still have them.
Well, no, I don't. I think we all have them. I definitely. I work with light energy. I teach people how to work with light energy and to bring the light into the physical body. So bringing the light into the physical body, and what I talk about in Money is Love is bringing light into light and love into the money, into everything that's 3D. You bring light. You bring light, and then you infuse everything, as opposed to trying to get rid of it or burn it up or make it bad. You embrace these triggers. You say, I love you. Come in here. And my new book is really all about how to do this. My new book that I'm working on right now, and how to do it not just for money, but for everything, is to create like a vortex of light.
Okay.
That is just infused with your love. And then just bring in the fear, bring in the trigger. I can't do this. No, this is stupid. I'll never make enough. Blah, 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 and just bring them in and love them in the light. Let the light do it. You can't love it and make it and pretend. But you can bring it. Well, you can start with pretending and just think of the light, loving everything. And, this thing about alchemy and this fusion, fusion as opposed to fission, right? Where we fuse two ideas together and they come out something new.
Right.
Well, I always think of the sentence "money as love" as being like a fusion chamber or an alchemical beaker.
Yes.
And so you put them both in here, and you infuse love with money, and you infuse money with love, and become this whole new vibration thing.
It's like a formula, actually, when you do it that way. That's brilliant. That's brilliant. Okay, so just wanted, Jeannie Kaler says angel blessings from Denver. And Zach said, we're not really bringing spirit into the body since nothing in the physical realm is real. We are allowing the hidden realm to express in this illusion so it will vanish. That's just me. You know how I am. So he's talking about the next layer of awareness that not very many people are operating from. So just wanted you to I don't know if you want to speak to that or not.
Well, I mean, he's brought it up, and I think the idea that the physical is an illusion is from the old paradigm.
Okay.
Because the physical is the feminine. The earth is not an illusion. It's in my mind. It is the wonderfulness of this level of vibration.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
The material world, and it's not for me. We need to bring them both together. The spirit and the material, embody them at this point.
Yes, I think for anyone that's in a conscious business, Jade Rader's here, and she says, I love Barbara. I still talk about her book, Money is Love, and many of the things she taught in the class I took with her back in the early 2000s. Blessings to you both.
Oh, hi, how are you? Good to see you.
Isn't that cool? You can reconnect with her on Facebook. Yeah, Jade's a great friend of mine. She's amazing. She's amazing, magical being. So basically, what you're doing now, though, your next book was called "Embracing Your Power Woman," and that's how you and I reconnected, because you've included me on a bunch of your posts where you're starting to work with this, and of course, I think this is the time for us to be whole and complete, is whether we're male or female, because as a woman business owner, a conscious business owner, but still I've had to use a lot of my divine masculine to push forward. And the idea of a power woman and balancing that, it just intrigues me. Could you speak to that a little bit about what that's all about?
Yes, that book actually did come out quite a while ago too. Oh.
Sorry.
That's okay, but it is newer than Money is Love, and I'm just finishing a revision for an updating of it right now that I'll put out in an ebook right away, like in the next week or two.
That's great.
So, I have my public group is called Embracing Your Power Woman, and anybody please join that, and then you'll get to know about when the new revision comes out. It's an 11-step program. It's not a 12-step program. And based on, of course, 11 of a master number plus 11 equals a 2, which is the feminine. And it was basically written for women from midlife women and beyond. And the power that we need to tap into, because I feel that we are the salvation of the world. Love the younger women, absolutely love you, and have so much to share with you also. And you younger women will find lots of wonderful stuff in this book. But it's this 11-step program of the stepping into the mature feminine power to take our place as the leaders, the leaders of this shift, because we have all the tools, we have all the life experience, we have and as we come into our power woman stage, we come when we own it and let go of the old belief systems about older women. And more and more women over 45 are doing that now. But really finding that our true direction, our purpose, and then finding our leadership, our authentic leadership, and our enlightened success. All of these are the power woman stages.
Could you talk about enlightened leadership a little bit? Because I think for conscious business people that are small business owners, that leadership is the big challenge. Because to really do a conscious leadership role, I was working on a proposal with a client yesterday who is amazing, but he's in a very hierarchical environment teaching about qigong and the presence of breath and about love and power, the power of love. And we've got a lot of people that are trailblazers that have pieces of the puzzle. But do you have any explanation of your vision of enlightened leadership that you could share here? It would be very helpful, I think.
Sure, absolutely. First of all, it's wonderful I always think about, first of all, King Arthur, because of the Round Table. And what most people don't know from the myth is that Guinevere brought the Round Table to King Arthur. And that's sitting in circle, right? Sitting in circle so that nobody is the head. So in authentic leadership, what needs to be, each person has to learn who they are and what they bring. Perfect. So that you know who you are and what you bring. And you know that and working with self-love and so that then as we sit at the round table or in community or in our business, each person becomes a leader when their expertise is needed.
Right.
And everyone else steps into the support of the whole system.
Right.
And so it means we have to release the ego, release the arrogant part of ego, and move into our humility, and say, and our pride. It's like actual pride of who we are and actual humility of being part of the group, so that there are no more followers. There are only leaders working together. And sometimes it's sort of like in the idea of the leader and the guide, right? So that the masculine or feminine, the magnetic or the dynamic is taking the lead and the other is being the supporter. But it has to be fluid. It has to be fluid so that each person can bring their gift that is necessary for the whole, and that is supported. And so, and learning how to do that.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think team is the new paradigm, and the best leaders support and encourage and uplift their people to get, because they were, each one of the members of the team were selected for their expertise or their dynamic vision.
Yes.
Whatever their component is, it's their soul yearning to express. And so it's like a recipe, a little of this, a little of that. And the energy that's created like that, what I see is it's off the charts. It's so cool.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, when we're co-creating, whew, I mean, it's there's so much fear about how nothing's progressing and we're in this mess and this chaos and we live in all of this, it's never going to happen. And, people just, talk about it all the time, even though we talk about, all these good ideas, they're just ideas and they'll take 100 years or 5,000 years. But no, when we come together, and that's the feminine principle, is the community. That's the feminine principle. It's the more, or I like to call it the magnetic, as opposed to, in concert with the dynamic.
Yes.
That they come together, and when that happens, there's so much energy in it that it's lifting the whole vibration of the space that you're in, and that ripples out through the whole world.
And the other part of this, Barbara, that I'd like to share is that I have been going to this event every summer for 5 years. I'll be going for my 6th time this coming June. It's called the Co-Creators Convergence, and it originally was started by a lot of Barbara Marx Hubbard followers that wanted to play together. I mean, it was a group of people that saw that's our future and were delighted to experience each other. And the first time I went, you just walk into this space and it's pure love. It's more than a safe space. This is much more than safe space. This is the field, the unified field. Mm-hmm. And what's happened is all these things have happened from it, because you have people like Barbara Marx Hubbard, who's a futurist. She's just passed, but a lot of her ideas were perfect, but they didn't ground. They didn't. They weren't actionable in the form in which they were shared. Mm-hmm. So you had to get these other people go, oh, I got that part. Oh, mm-hmm. I got that part. And then feel the joy of the co-creation together. So that's the way I see us. I don't see us going against a system. I see us creating a new offering that's so much brighter. It's like the iPhone. They could have kept doing those flip phones, and they just created something just so much better that it changed the paradigm. Well, that's I think what we're talking about here with conscious business and self-love.
Right.
It all comes from self-love, because you can't participate at this level without it.
Did you know that self-love is such a, I mean, we throw it around like crazy, but that's the major part of my new book. And it's, my son keeps saying, well, tell people how to do it, Mother. Don't just talk about it. So, I was just reading, Gloria Steinem wrote a book, and I forget what the title is because I'm reading it anyway, but it's about self-esteem, and she wrote it back in the 1990s, I think, and I just picked it up. And you know, she's talking about the history of self-love, and it's from way back. It's been the basis of the greatest philosophies, from Hermes Trismegistos, you know, from the great, you know, that's like 5,000 years ago. It's when we first individuated, we said, oh, God is in us. We are God. This is who we are. So when we love ourselves, we are loving God. And, you know, it's so, we just forgot this. We went into this paradigm of, we took individuation and that truth, and it got very out of balance. It got out of balance. And that's what we have to do, is come back to balance. It's not like we're inventing the wheel. It's here. We are meant to love ourselves.
But there's a programmed fear that's in the global consciousness, that if people are tapped into that, you have to unplug. So there is an awareness that needs to happen, where you see life in everything is for you instead of a challenge to you. I mean, it's a different way of looking at life in general.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So do you still do programs that are you working mostly one-on-one with people, or are you doing programs? How do people work with you, Barbara?
I'm mostly, because I'm writing a lot now. I'm creating a whole new level of work with my most advanced students. So I'm only working one-on-one right now, but classes will be starting again soon. But I've got to get these 2 books out now before.
I understand. Well,
I'm working with me is I work to take people to this next level. I work with light with them. I work with because I'm, you know, intuitive and, you know, different things.
We get it. We got the mojo.
Right. Anyway, so that's but also participating on the Embracing Your Power Woman public group is I really want to get that group, more active now too, so that we can start coming up with co-creating retreats and how we're going to get together, whether we're going to do it online here or if we're going to do it in person, and how we're going to do it. Because I know a lot of people did last summer and went through a lot of deep shift, like dark night of the soul stuff. And I did that, and I went through a real dark, difficult place. And of course, I've come out now with so much new work that that is very exciting, because we've all, so many of us have leveled up now, and I love working with the people that have leveled up, and that we're going to keep leveling up together. So that's the people that right now are my students, and I have students all over the world now that I'm one-on-one with, and I think it's so exciting because it's all of us together on this beautiful, beautiful, beautiful Mother Earth.
Yes, it's perfect. And I do have Don Lynch is here. He says nice, and Angie LaRue, who's Angelia on Facebook, she's here too. So there are other people here. They haven't asked a question yet of you, but I do think that almost everyone I'm working with is doing very similar work to what you are doing, where they've had their own connection to their higher knowing, and they want to share, and they want to guide, and they want to help make it easier to stay in that frequency, that higher frequency of love. Because when I'm working with people, I keep reminding them that you're buying, if you're selling your services, the customer's buying your light. They're buying your love.
That's right.
That's all we really have to offer. And if we can make the way easier for them so that they don't stumble, that's the whole gig, right? Because we already had it, so we can prevent it. Or not prevent it, but at least be way showers.
Absolutely. Perfect. And one thing that just popped out as you were speaking, because you're speaking such truth, but is that it's not just going higher, it's going deeper.
Right.
It's going deeper. And I work in the cave. I take all my students in the meditation. We go into our sacred cave, deep beneath at the bottom of our field in the earth, and connect with the different goddess energies there. That because there's to bring in all the aspects of the divine feminine to train. They train. It's like a training program from all of the ancient goddesses, and there's even new goddesses being born now. That are coming through. So it's not just about leaving, because the old paradigm is we just leave the body to get to spirit. It's lifting up and deepening down. Right. And come together.
Oh, beautiful. And that's where the power is.
Yeah.
I mean, it really, that whole soul body fusion, and then using it here, that's what I think we all came to experience, that as a novel time, this 26,000 year cycle. Right. Well, I'm going to show your website again, and what we'll do is we'll in the comments we'll put your group, if you'll help me get that in here. And I do want to recommend Barbara's work. As you can see, Jade and I both have used it, and we're impressed by it over 10 years ago. Well, Jade said 19 years ago. She said during the 2000s. And it may have been that long ago for me too, because I remember sitting in circle with you, and the profound truth of it was so dominant that I've never forgotten it. I've never forgotten. Okay, and it says, okay, so she's also telling me to, Jeannie's telling me to look at some other people too, but it's time for us to all work this magic together and have some fun with it, right?
It's got to be, yes. One of I'd love to remember this back in the 80s when Cyndi Lauper told us the girls just want to have fun. Let's do this for fun.
Yeah. We'll let a couple of guys in if they want.
Oh, please. I didn't mean to ever let I love our guys, and I love my inner masculine, and it has to be the marriage.
Right. It's a balance. And this is the, so much magic and alchemy and information is coming in right now that it's almost too much. So it's wonderful to have you as an interpreter and a way shower to help people travel to find this new way of being really in the world. So thank you so much, Barbara. Thank you. I'm so glad we reconnected.
Me too, Kathy. Thank you for having me. It's been so much fun.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we're going to sign off now. Thank you so much. And thank you, everyone, for coming. Bye-bye.